This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Can hear you and see you.
All right, very good. Thanks, Jan. Very nice to see you all. I'm pleased to say that we'll have Handre Pollard, Vodacom Bulls fly half, on the call. You'll all appreciate, of course, we're talking about the Vodacom URC final next weekend, so we won't be entertaining questions about the Springboks or test matches or anything like that. But Handre is more than happy to talk about the United Rugby Championship. If I can ask you to please put up your hands in Zoom, and then we'll do questions sequentially. Thanks very much. Okay, Morgan, welcome to it.
Thanks, Clinton. How's Handre? All's good on your side. Handre, what does it mean to be in the final game? The team, needless to say, got off to a bit of a shaky start at the beginning of the season, and you guys have got through to this place now where you're in the fourth final in 5 years, and it's almost against all odds. So that must be a tremendous motivator for you guys going into next week.
Yeah, Morgan, listen, let's be honest. I think December, January, nobody really saw us in the final. We believed it and we were working hard, but we also had our doubts at times. You know, it was a real tough time over that time of the season, but we really came together well. We got clarity in the way we wanted to play the game, and that showed the last 3-4 months of the season. So listen, it's very special. A lot of the guys have been there before. Of course, we've had a lot of disappointment in this competition in finals. But it's a real positive, I think. You know, the guys have been there before. They know what to expect. And yeah, listen, from where we came from this season to be where we are is special. And now we want to take that confidence into the final.
Thanks, Handre. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you very much, Clint. May I ask 2 questions up front, please?
By all means.
Awesome, thank you. Good day, Polly. Polly, I mean, last week it wasn't your best of days with the boot. How do you go about ensuring that you reboot and reset, and to ensure that you're at your best self, especially in the final of the URC?
No, absolutely. I was terrible last weekend in terms of kicking, but you have those days, and you got to be able to just sort of put it aside and see it for what it is. I like to think I've maybe had more better days than bad days in terms of kicking in my career. So I've been there before. As frustrating and disappointing as it was, I know what to do to reset. So you just go back to your normal routine, your system that you know works for you, and you just get back on the horse and just work hard again. And next nice thing about rugby is you get another opportunity in a week's time. So yeah, I'm excited for the next opportunity.
Polly, a 2-pronged question. Did you see what what people are calling the tunnel gate between Leinster and the Stormers?
I saw that, yeah.
Okay. Could we expect the same sort of tensions between yourselves and Leinster, especially with what happened last year's final? We've seen how it gets, especially with the 2 national teams play against each other, which brings out the best in both the team's players. Is last year's final still lurking in the back of the minds?
Listen, there's going to be a lot of emotion, definitely. I think from both sides. We are desperate to get over the line. They are desperate to defend, and they are playing at home in front of their people. So there's a lot of quality players both sides of the pitch, and there's going to be a big emotional part of the game, which is good, and it should be that way. It's a final, and that brings a different kind of intensity. But I think you also got to control that. If it gets out of hand, you're going to make decisions that might bite you later on in the game. So it's going to be very important for us to control our emotions as best as we can, but also get out of it what we can, because it's a big part of rugby. So we got to take that and use the energy, but try and control our minds.
Awesome. All the best with preparations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Your turn.
Thank you, Clinton. Can I just ask a quick favor? Just move Handre a little bit more central, because he's sort of sitting on the side there. There we go. Dankie, ek waardeer. You've been there, and I suppose the cliche is you've been around the block a few times, but you've mentioned that a lot of these players have played in finals before. But there are as a team, what is the overriding message that, with your experience, that you say to the guys ahead of such a big final?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I wasn't here for all those finals, so I think there's a lot of hurt for a lot of guys, but I think the way the guys have been speaking about it, it's been in a very positive light. It's motivation. We're not dwelling on the past. We're just excited for another opportunity to get over the line. So it's all about just going out there and not having any regrets. I feel when you get to finals, pressure gets quite big, and it gets a lot. And it's about still expressing yourself, still playing your game that you played the whole season that got you to that point. So, it's just going to be a matter of emotions, energy, all of that, like I mentioned earlier, but not letting the pressure of the occasion get to you, and just play freely. If destiny is meant to be for us as a team, it will be. But as long as we just went out there and played our game and played it as hard and tough as we can.
Yeah. From a personal perspective, I mean, as I said, you've been there and you've showed that in the big moments you can deliver. Is there something specific that you do to calm yourself down and keep yourself focused and not getting distracted by the occasion?
Nothing specific. I think the most important thing is you got to enjoy the moment. You work so hard all season, every single week. The seasons are so long these days, and you work so hard to get to that point that you're going to feel nerves. It's normal. Everybody is going to feel it, but you got to enjoy it. That's why we play the game. That's why we work so hard, is to get ourselves into those big games, and there's nothing bigger than a final. So it's just, you just try and enjoy it as much as you can. And everybody's going to handle the pressure differently. So I just try and stay as calm as possible.
Baie dankie, waardeer.
Right.
Hi, Moreno. Handre, happy to take the question.
Hi, good morning from Italy, and I don't know if I'm allowed to call you Polly anyway.
You can call me Polly, that's fine.
I know you've been around a few years here in Europe, in France and in England, and you know the importance of the European Cups. Why, in your opinion, South African teams are struggling in the European Cups, while in the URC, you regularly, Bulls and Stormers, reach the final stages? Is there a motivation? Or maybe it's just in a couple of years, you will understand, also the public, the importance of it. Thank you.
Yeah. Moreno, I think that's a good question, but it's a difficult question. You know, I think it's hard though with the schedule, especially for the South African teams, or the Southern Hemisphere teams, with us playing our international rugby in the Southern Hemisphere, of course, and playing our club rugby in Europe. It gets pretty long, and it's a pretty tough, long season. And to try and manage your squads throughout that season, it's very, very hard. So, listen, the players enjoy the Champions Cup very much. We love it. We know how big it is and how important a competition it is, and it's a real privilege for us to play in it. So, it is disappointing that we haven't kicked on in that competition better yet, but hopefully in the future. I can't give you an answer to what might be the reason for that, but just from our players' side, we really enjoy playing in that competition, and we know how big it is and how important it is. So we enjoy it. It's just unfortunate we haven't done better at it.
Grazie and good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Cobus. Good to see you again in English, if you don't mind, for the international audience.
Thanks, Clinton. Hello, Andre. Andre, just coming back to the goal kicking, is it a confidence thing or more just a matter of ticking all the technical boxes again?
No, it's not a confidence thing at all. Each kick is just what it is. It's a kick, so you just got to add a good look back. Small little technical tweaks, something I picked up afterwards, which I can fix pretty quickly. So it's nothing major. I'll just be straight back into my normal routine that I do every single week. Just trusting my process. It's worked for me in the past, and I'm sure it'll work again.
And just for interest, are you more the player of kicking for 1 hour, or are you that kind of player that when you feel you have your rhythm, you will stop and leave it there?
Yeah, definitely more rhythm guy. When you're young, you can kick for hours and hours. As you get a bit older, you got to look after your body and listen to your body. So, I've certain things that I want to feel when I kick, and once I've felt them, I feel confident, and then I stop. How many kicks that is, it's not always the same, but I don't kick for hours now.
Thanks, Andre. All the best.
Thank you.
Hi, Johan, your turn.
Hi, Andre. You mentioned earlier that the way the team turned around the season. So if we just look back at some stats, I mean, you lost 6 out of the first 9. Now you've won 8 in a row, and some people might not have thought you would have been in the final. Was there something specific that? Was it the players that said something to each other, the coaching staff? How did you, if you look back now towards the final, how did you turn around the season after having such a bad start?
Yeah, and I know most people will think there's this big meeting and players sit in a boardroom and discuss it. It's not like that at all. We're just honest with ourselves. We know we sort of had a couple coaching changes early in the season, which is always going to take a few games to get rhythm and comfortable with each other and understand each other. And once we got that, even though we didn't get the results, we knew we were sort of going where we want to go and on the right track. And then we just had to get that couple wins or 1 or 2 wins just to give ourselves that confidence again. And that sort of happened in that Edinburgh, those couple of weeks we were on tour. When we got those results, the confidence just slowly came back into the squad again. So, nothing specific. It's just sometimes you lose a few games in the season, you're always gonna. Sometimes you lose them early or sometimes you lose them late. We just lost quite a few early and then we came back strongly. So, no emergency meetings or anything like that.
Okay. Then just another one from my side. So, something on Ambrose Papier. I mean, he's your teammate and you play with him regularly. He's been one of the stars. He's URC South African Player of the Tournament, especially for you playing with him as a fly-half. He's also back in the Bok mix. What can you tell us about him and how is it playing with somebody like him? And he's had a great season.
No, it's been absolutely amazing playing with him. He's been so great for us this year. He's playing the rugby of his life at the moment. It's really great to see. He's a quiet guy. He doesn't say much. He just goes about his business. He works very hard. The tries are nice and all the X factor stuff's very nice, but it's the basics and his kicking game and all of those things that has become so much better. And I think that's the stuff we value as well in our team as well. Apart from all the brilliant tries and everything, he's steered the ship very well and takes a lot of pressure off myself as well, so I can look for other opportunities as well. So he's been great for us. We're going to need it again next weekend.
Thank you.
Hi, Michael. Good to see you. You're welcome to come in here.
Thanks, Clinton. Handre, just, we talk about comebacks of the season and then that second half against Glasgow Warriors. I mean, just from your perspective, does that carry through that second half? Does that still carry through in the psyche of this team for the final? And what have you noticed in this team throughout the season that possibly makes them so adept at digging so deep at critical moments that could make this a different final?
Yeah, listen, I think that second half, there was technical stuff that we had to fix at half time defensively because they were just tearing us up off every set piece. But once we fixed that, we gave ourselves a chance to defend and get the ball back and get the ball in our hands. We started to play our game. So, listen, I think, unfortunately, we've been in that position too many times this season, but you can look at that as a negative or a very positive thing. I think we've come out of so many holes as a group this season that even though we were down 21-3, we looked each other in the eye and we just sort of said, listen, it's not going to be easy, but we're going to just keep on fighting because we know we can turn this thing around. And I think that's a great character to have in a squad. If it's going too well, you don't necessarily always get the opportunity to build that character. So that's something, hopefully we don't have to lean on it as much again next weekend. But if it has to be, we've been there before and we will trust ourselves to get ourselves out of it again. So I think it's a very, very good characteristic. I think that's the word, that we have in this team.
Magic. Thanks, Clinton.
Just Michael. Hi, Neil. Welcome to ask your question. You're on mute.
Now, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Sorry about that. Just a question from an Irish perspective. With Leinster at out half the season, there's been a lot of chopping and changing between Harry Byrne and Sam Prendergast. From your point of view as an out half, what are the elements of each of those players' games that you like?
Yeah, listen, it's always tough. I mean, they've got so many great players in every position. And I know the guys get quite a lot of criticism back in Ireland. But they're great players, each different, you know. So Sam's, of course, a younger guy. He's got that sort of swagger around, and he plays his game with so much confidence. And Harry's just a really, really solid fly-off, and he's been doing a great job. So, listen, whoever they pick or whoever they decide to use win in the game, it's two great fly-offs, and playing alongside, of course, Gibson Park, they're very, very dangerous. So, yeah, I'm not going to pin it down to one thing for each of them. It's just they're two very good players, and it's two guys we really respect, and we're going to look after them as much as we can.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Handre.
Hi, Derek.
How you doing, Andre? I want to ask a question about voodoo, or what we think is voodoo. We don't understand altitude at all, right? It's just some magic that's in some weird South African Praetorian. Your ground is higher than our highest mountain in Ireland, right? Your home ground. Can you tell us just what the last 20 minutes feels to you like when you're playing, where you will be playing in Dublin? So what's the difference between what the Bulls can do to you in the last 20 minutes in the Loftus Veerveld to how you have to plan for 20 minutes away from home at the end of the game?
Yeah, I wish the effect going that way was as big as it was coming this way, but it's unfortunately not. I think it's pretty equal, you know. For teams to come to Loftus, it's always tough at the last 20. It just is because of the altitude. But for us going to Ireland, sort of lower down, it's not that big of a difference. Like our bodies are a bit more adapted to altitude, of course, and you get a slight benefit from it, but it's nothing that will really make a big difference. We're still going to be tired, all of us, going into the last 20 after a game like that.
Do you have to play slightly at a slower pace for the first hour? Like, is there pacing involved if you're playing at sea level? Or is it not at all? It's just you're playing at sea level. That's it.
Mate, honestly, it's just we're playing at sea level, and we just go at it as hard as we can and see where it gets us, to be honest. Yeah.
Told you it was magic. It's all Harry Potter stuff to us. We don't understand. Thanks very much.
All right.
All right, Ben, you've been waiting a while.
Hi, Handre. You joined the Bulls following 3 years at Leicester Tigers this season. What are the key differences between the Prem and URC you found, and ultimately those two clubs in general?
Yeah, I think the Prem is a bit more sort of structured. It's very competitive. Not that the URC is very competitive as well, but the Prem with the 10 teams is pretty equal, and you don't do the traveling. So I mean, it's all pretty close, and everybody's sort of in the same rhythm. Where in the URC, it's very extreme. It's different continents, different countries, lots of travel involved, and the game is a bit. I reckon it's a bit more open in the URC, mostly throughout the year. Of course, you get your tight derbies and close games that come on and playoffs and all of that, but it feels a bit more open, a bit more individual brilliance sort of in the URC, can get you a bit more reward than maybe in the Prem did. But great in their own both great in their own way, really enjoyable, just slightly different.
Brilliant, thank you.
All right, Gringo. Gringo, you're on mute. Derek, is that an old hand or a new hand? Okay, I presume it's an old one. Okay, Jan, while we wait for Gringo, you're welcome to ask another question.
Thank you, Clinton. Andre, I know you spoke about the fly-off earlier, but in general, and I'm expecting you to give tactics away, but in general, what about Leinster is the biggest threat to the Bulls, and what in your game are you focusing on this week ahead of the final?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to put down one thing. They've got so many things they do so well. But I reckon I'd probably say Gibson Park's kicking game of 9 is probably, if not the best in the world. So that's a big factor. We know their set piece, their line-out contesting is brilliant as well. And then, of course, they've got a very aggressive defensive mindset with Jacques. So there's stretch all over. We can't pin it down to one. But again, when you get to this stage of the season, you can focus on the opposition. You're going to try and try and delve into them as much as you can. But if you don't do what you have to do well, it's not going to matter at all, is it? So we're really going to focus on ourselves this week, whilst looking at them, analysing them as much as we can, using the extra week as well for that. But yeah, to answer your question, there's not one thing, but I would say Gibson Park's even game of 9 is a pretty big factor.
And the Bulls game, anything you guys are focusing on to rectify?
Well, obviously we have to rectify some defensive stuff from the first half of Glasgow, so we'll focus on that, try and get clarity on what we did wrong there and be better at that. But other than that, we'll just focus on our game.
Thanks again.
And I was asked could I have a last one there? This is Derek Foley in Dublin.
Yeah, Derek, jump in. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. John Dobson, who you'd be familiar with, came out with a startling statistic after the semi-final. He said that Leinster win all their matches in the first 20 minutes. That if you look closely, their points tally in the first 20 minutes is what eventually sees them over the line. Were you aware of that? And can you just mention that then in context of what was an alarming start for you in Glasgow? Or you were in Edinburgh, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We are aware of that. They always get off to a great start, and that's testament to their preparation and their mindset going into a game. I think it's something a lot of teams can learn from ourselves as well. So, yeah, of course, we don't want to be back at 21-3 like we were last week. So it's up to us to come out with the right intent and mindset and be accurate. I think that's the main thing, being accurate that first 20 minutes. They're going to have their moments. There's no doubt about it. They're too good a team. But if you can limit that to as fewer point-scoring opportunities, then you sort of stay in the game and hopefully stay in the fight as long as you possibly can. But yeah, you got to match them with intensity, emotion, physicality. You got to match them in that first 20 for sure.
And can you tell us how much you could just tell us something about Felix Jones? You've worked with him. He's kind of sort of iconic over here. He has 2 Ireland World Cup medals. He's the only person who has a World Cup medal. Could you just he'd be a player sort of after your own heart, kind of a maverick back in his own way. When he played, believe it or not, he had a slightly unusual style. Just tell us a little bit about Felix.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say too much, man. We appreciate him. We love him here in South Africa. We really appreciate that he's working for us. And yeah, he's a great man. He's got an unbelievable rugby brain, and his work ethic is something I've never ever seen in my life before. It's honestly something out of this world. So we're very thankful to have him, and hopefully he can stick around for a long time.
That's okay. There are only 2 Rugby World Cup medals, don't forget. The only 2 Irish Rugby World Cup medals probably likely ever to be. So we love him too. Thanks, Handre. I know that was a cheeky question.
Hi, Michael. I'd like to wrap up with your question. Please ask.
Hi, how are you? Last year's final was on the same day as you were playing for Leicester in the other final. Did you get a chance to watch it back in full, the URC final? What do you know about Croke Park? Are you looking forward to playing there? Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know much about Croke Park, but of course I've heard about it, and the boys have said they said it's one of the best pitches they've ever set foot on. They were actually amazed about how good the pitch is. So no, I'm excited to go there. I've never been there, so it's also the first for me. But just excited about it, and hopefully there's a great crowd in there and a great vibe, and yeah, just be a great spectacle. I think the game has the possibility to be a real great game if the weather allows us in Ireland. So yeah, hopefully we can get that, and we can just go at it for 80 minutes and then see who's the best team and see who wins.
What makes you believe that there can be a better outcome than last year? Obviously, apart from the fact that you're playing this time.
No, I just think I think in the past maybe the Bulls or us, we might finish second in the league and maybe have an easier run. This year we had to work really, really hard to get where we are. Does that mean anything going into the final? Probably not. But now we feel we've worked extremely hard, and we're going to go out there and just do that again. If the cards don't fall our way, then fine. That's rugby. But we've worked very hard to get ourselves here, and we're just very excited to have this opportunity.
Thanks. Enjoy it.
Everyone, if there are no more questions, I think we'll wrap it up there. Thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Handre like an old pro.